stadium built with containers, a football pitch surrounded by universities, the 10th biggest stadium in the world. The 2022 World Cup is just around the corner, and Qatar will bring us the most exciting and breathtaking stadiums in the whole world. Let's take a closer look at all the Qatar 2022 World Cup stadiums. The eyes of the entire world will be on this stadium on November the 20th. Why? Here, at Albay Stadium, Qatar and Ecuador will open the 2022 World Cup. It's the second biggest venue in the tournament, with a capacity of 60,000 people. The stadium takes its name from Bayt al-Shah, the name of the tent historically used by nomadic people in Qatar and Arab countries. Those tents are traditionally identified with black and white stripes, and that will be visible on the outside of the stadiums. Qatar have never lost a game at this stadium. 3 games, 3 victories. Will they be able to keep their record at the World Cup debut against Ecuador? This is where England will make the World Cup debut against Iran on November the 21st. But it's not the first time they will play here. Khalifa International Stadium first opened in 1976 and is part of the history of football in Qatar. It hosted a really important tournament that helped the sport develop in this country. Even though England will be making the World Cup debut at this stadium, it is not the first time they play here. They played against Brazil back in 2014, a friendly game. The score? A victory for the South American side. This is one of the most peculiar stadiums in this World Cup, Stadium 1974. First of all, the name. Can you think of any other stadium in the world with just numbers in their name? Why is it called that? Well, it's built out of 974 shipping containers, and 974 is also the international dialing code for Qatar. It's a tribute to Qatar's history of international trading and seafaring. Each of the containers' colors indicates what they are for. For example, yellow ones are toilets, blue ones are for food, green ones are medical units. Have you got a VIP pass? Then look out for the grey ones. This is where France will begin the World Cup defense in the 2022 tournament. Janoub Stadium will be the venue for France-Australia on November the 22nd. The stadium design is inspired in the hull of the dhow boat used in Qatar back in the days for fishing. A total of 7 games will be played here, including the first Uruguay-Ghana after the 2010 World Cup Suarez handball incident. I bet you all like your team to play at this stadium. Why? Well, Lusail Stadium will host the 2022 World Cup final. Not only is the biggest stadium in Qatar, but it's also the 10th biggest stadium in the whole world. Its capacity, 80,000 seats. Its beautiful design is inspired in the handcrafted bowls found all across the Arabic and Islamic culture. It will host games in every stage of the World Cup, including, of course, the final. Argentina and Brazil will be making the World Cup debut at these stadiums against Saudi Arabia and Serbia, respectively. What teams do you think will be facing each other at this stadium on December the 18th in the World Cup final? Diamond in the desert. That's how Education City Stadium is also known. The thousands of triangles that compose the exterior of the stadium create a diamond-like pattern that sparkles as the sun moves across the sky. Education City is located outside of Doha, inside Qatar Education City, and it's surrounded by national and international universities. After the World Cup, most of the hospitality areas will be converted into classrooms for the universities. England will be playing at the most beautiful stadium in the World Cup, and that's not me talking. The Ahmad Bin Ali Stadium was awarded the Stadium Design of the Year in Qatar in 2016. The outside of the stadium reflects the shapes of the sand dunes found in the Arab deserts, along with little patterns that represent the local flora, fauna, international and national trade, and the importance of the family in Qatar. This is a stadium where Qatar showed the entire world that the World Cup could be held here. It was at Thumama Stadium where the organizers demonstrated the cooling technology to FIFA. A mini stadium was built on the site and cooled down using solar power. And that convinced FIFA that the conditions to play football in Qatar were optimal. Its white cladding design is inspired in the gafia, the traditional woven hat worn by men in the Arab countries. If you're traveling to the Qatar World Cup, this might be the first stadium you see. Why? It's close to the airport and many international flights descend just over the stadium. And those are the stadiums for the Qatar World Cup. Let me know down in the comments which one is your favorite one and why. See you in Qatar.